I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into another episode of Chicago Bears Now. Could a Kyler Gordon contract extension be in the works in the near future? This is kind of the time of year when these things start to be discussed between teams, agents, etc. Kyler Gordon, of course, the first draft pick of the Ryan Poles era, is eligible for an extension, and a guy that I would think the Bears would be at least interested in potentially locking up. Daniel Jeremiah making the note earlier today that I'll be shocked if we don't see a flurry of extensions done over the next 7 to 10 days. Teams have money and cap space, and the free agency group isn't very exciting. Good time to lock up your key young guys. And I think something that's important, too, when it comes to Kyler Gordon for you guys to remember, both Ben Johnson, an offensive mind, in his introductory press conference, and Dennis Allen brought Kyler Gordon up unprompted. So what does that tell you? That tells you from the outside looking in, before they even got this job, he was a player that caught their attention. Ben Johnson, when he was preparing to face the Bears defense, probably saw number 6 flying around. It was like, that guy could cause some issues. Dennis Allen clearly was made aware of who this player was at some point. The Bears played the Saints last year, and maybe that's when he caught their attention. Regardless of the case, when your head coach and defensive coordinator, the first time they talk to the media, mention a player who's eligible for an extension, and your young GM's first draft pick, I would think they'd all be pretty motivated to lock this guy up long term. I think he's a really good player. Now, he's missed 9 games in 3 seasons. It's not like major concern, but minor injury issues. 3 games a year, so it's not nothing. But he does everything, right? He plays in the box. He can play nickel in a pinch. You can put him on the outside. He can rush the passer as a blitzer. I think Dennis Allen will do that more with him, by the way, which is exciting. You can use him in disguised coverages. He can hold up well against slot receivers and tight ends. He hits hard, man. He is a willing tackler, and that's what I like out of a nickelback in today's NFL. Are you someone that's willing to light someone up? Because the ideal nickel doesn't just cover, but can light people up in the box as well, and he's able to do that. I think you could argue, outside of Jalen Johnson, he is your most important defensive back on this team. Now, we all hope Tyreek Stevenson takes a step forward under Al Harris this year. In a perfect world, Jaquan Brisker's fully healthy and can get back on track to being what he was supposed to be. But end of the day, you can find safeties. I think to find a high-end nickel who does a little bit of everything is a little tough, but pretty important in today's NFL. I would lock him up. I would try to get Kyler Gordon done sooner rather than later. And I do think you're risking a price tag going way up before he takes the field in a Dennis Allen defense who's more creative with his defensive backs. Like, I could see Allen getting 3-4 sacks out of him, more takeaways out of him, just using him in different ways. So, to me, this is a contract projection I cooked up. 3 years, $33 million, 11 a year or per year, $20 million guaranteed. That's high end for a nickel, but with what he does, you look at a guy like Kenny Moore in Indianapolis, he got about 10 per year. I think Kyler Gordon's a more explosive defensive back. He's a better athlete. He's a better tackler. He could play around the line of scrimmage more than Kenny Moore can, in my opinion, and he's young. He's like 24, 25 years old. So he's a player I would look at hard this offseason in terms of extensions. And, you do that now. He's still got the rookie year left. You could kind of turn it into like a 4-year deal for like $36 million, because I think he's owed $3 million this year. Then those cap numbers really can stay down over the course of the contract. So I'd be looking to do that if I was Ryan Poles. What say you? Should the Bears extend Kyler Gordon? Type E for extend or type W for wait. Again, you risk him taking off in Dennis Allen's defense, and you kind of know what he is. Like, I don't think you're risking him becoming a bad player this year. The only slight risk is, again, he's had minor injuries, but nothing that's like, he doesn't have a torn ACL or anything under his belt at the NFL level. So I would extend him. I think you can get him on a pretty good price tag, and he could be a piece for years to come. I do want to mention T.J. Edwards as well. I think he's someone you could extend. He's got 1 year left at like $6-7 million bucks. Which was a great contract at the time, much better than the Tremaine Edmonds deal. I didn't think he played quite as well last year as he did 2 years ago, but you can blitz him from that linebacker position. He can hold up enough in coverage, and he's your best run-stopping linebacker. Like, to me, if you can get him on like a 2-year extension, 6 or 7 per year, kind of like what you got him on that initial 3-year deal, 2 years, $13 million on an extension. If he signs that, be willing to sign that, I'd do it. Now, if it gets north of $10 million per year, maybe just play this year out because he is a little older. I think he's 28. But I'd do a 2-year south of $7 million per year contract extension for him. So keep an eye on T.J. Edwards. He could also be a guy in line for a new deal. Okay, is a big move coming? Obviously, we talked about the potential extensions. The Gordon one would be a notable move, no doubt about it. But with the NFL Combine Week officially here, all 32 teams, agents, they're all in the same location. This is when these teams, these agents, they all start to talk. Like, hey, what do you think of my client? You want to trade this guy to that team? Like, so, Bears cut a couple of guys last Friday, DeMarcus Walker and Gerald Everett. So they're almost at $80 million in cap space. We know Ryan Poles isn't afraid of a trade. They have 4 picks in the top 72 of this upcoming NFL draft. So we'll kind of explore a couple of different categorical things that could happen during NFL Combine Week or shortly after, as, again, the chatter is going to start to ramp up for the Chicago Bears. Okay, we are sponsored by PrizePicks. The action on the court is heating up. March Madness just around the corner. You are not going to want to miss that. And, it's not just basketball. You got baseball getting going pretty quickly here. You got hockey in mid-season as well. And there's no better daily fantasy app than PrizePicks. You could set lineups of 2 or more players, and you just choose more or less on the stats available. Points, rebounds, assists, goals in hockey and soccer, home runs in baseball, combo stats, all kinds of things. 2 players on 2 or more different teams, you qualify for a lineup up to 6 players. In certain lineups, you can win up to 1,000 times your money on entry. So get signed up today at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Our code CLNS is going to get you a $50 bonus when you sign up and play for just $5 for you new customers. We got the Luka Doncic, more on the points, rebounds, and assists going up against his former team. I think we all know what's going to happen there. He's going to go nuclear. Kyrie Irving will take the more on his points as well, and then less on LeBron's points. He's going to feed Luka in his matchup against his former team. 10 to win about 50 on that one, but again, you can win up to 1,000x. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Get the $50 bonus with code CLNS when you play for just $5. Okay, let's kind of explore just the different category of things that will start to be rumored out there. Could a blockbuster trade happen? Well, Myles Garrett has requested a trade, so I would imagine we get some new information on that, whether that's Bears related or not. Could Micah Parsons be a player that the Bears or other teams look into? The latest chatter around Micah is that he and the Cowboys have not started contract negotiations, so that is certainly pretty interesting. Myles Garrett wants to play for a contender. I don't know if the Bears are a team he'd be interested in. But regardless, you're going to hear trade rumors ramp up this week. It's already happening with Stafford. Albert Breer reported earlier today that he named 4 teams and then said others have already shown interest in trading for Stafford. So that's going to pick up around him, around other notable players that could be on the trade market, maybe a Cooper Kupp. We'll have to wait and see who all is included in that. But that is going to shape up. And you Bears fans should be familiar with that. With the Bears having the number 1 pick the last few years, they've been connected to trades. Justin Fields last year before, number 1 pick. Are they going to move down? Are they going to keep it? That report saying that they're open for business. Are the Titans going to do that? So lots of things are going to happen as GMs and coaches start to talk to the media tomorrow and these agents get involved. So be on the lookout. And Ryan Poles has been a guy who has not been afraid to make a trade. So don't be surprised for him to make some calls and be in the mix. Will Ryan Poles make a big trade? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. I'd probably bet against it in terms of like a blockbuster, at least right now, but we know he's capable of it. He's done it before. Okay, notable NFL cuts. We've kind of alluded to this, but all 32 teams have to be cap compliant by March 12th, which is 2 weeks from Wednesday, the start of the new league year. And even teams who are cap compliant, they're just going to want to free up more cap space. The Bears have already done it with a couple of guys, DeMarcus Walker and Gerald Everett. Now, those guys aren't notable on a national level, but some of these guys are. Like a Joey Bosa is a big one. $36 million cap hit. Chargers save $25 million if they cut him. I would expect that to happen if he's not willing to take a pay cut. Javon Hargrave, 49ers already said they're going to designate him a post-June 1 cut. So that can't actually happen until the new league year, but he will be a cut. Christian Kirk, he could be someone that the Jags move on from. Von Miller. These are just 4 of numerous players that could be out there. And I mentioned these 4 because I'd be intrigued in all of them at the right price, including Kirk, if it's south of $10 million per year, because he could give you some speed and some juice at that slot receiver position. And the Bears could certainly pounce. We saw it last year. They kind of pounced with the Keenan Allen. They ended up trading a 4th-round pick for him, but that was Ryan Poles being opportunistic, trying to add a piece that could help the team win now. Now, obviously, last year went off the rails, but just an example of how these teams operate as you get to this point of the offseason. Subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 118,000 subscribers. We're 610 away. Can we get there by the end of the NFL Combine or at least before free agency? That would be awesome. We appreciate it. 2+ videos per day. We go live every Monday and Thursday as well. Plus, when big breaking news happens, if the Bears make a trade, we will be live. I can promise you that. So go ahead and subscribe. And then lastly, free agency buzz. That's going to start to circulate even more. You've already seen some of that, like players that certain teams seem to be interested in. But again, all the agents, all the GMs, they're all in the same location. So you get all these late night meetings at St. Elmo's and insert location in Indianapolis where these people start to talk. If you don't think there's tampering that takes place before the legal tampering period, well, then how the hell do the Chicago Bears sign DeAndre Swift like 8 minutes into free agency last year? You think they had no contact with his agent before free agency? Of course they did, because that's how this all works. So you're going to see conversations. We may not see the exact things that are taking place, but there will be talks. There will be chatter. There will be leaks on who's interested in who. Remember last year we heard the Bears could be in on Saquon Barkley, and Saquon himself revealed at the Super Bowl, I was pretty close to going to Chicago. So these type of things get leaked out this week, and we'll, of course, talk and react to all of it when it comes to the Chicago Bears. Obviously, Trey Smith, Drew Dahlman. Are we going to hear more buzz about those guys this week? I would imagine so, especially Trey Smith. Do the Chiefs consider franchise tagging him? The general consensus would be no right now. Could that change before the deadline on March 4th? We'll see. Drew Dahlman, could his market start to round into form? What other teams would be interested? Would Atlanta bring him back? So all these things are going on starting this week. So stay tuned for that, because we are going to have you covered on all of it here on Chicago Bears Now. One of the many reasons to subscribe to this channel is because we hit every big news, rumor item, draft, free agency, scouting, combine. We'll have it all covered. Plenty of clips from the combine as Chat Sports has boots on the ground. So stay tuned for that.